Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Friday, August 15th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
They're pretty big.
These are real kidney stones that were either passed or removed from a patient. And you can imagine, however they got out, it didn't feel great.
A lot of the therapies involve oral medication, so people go on oral medication, have to take pills maybe a couple times a day for several months.
That's not always effective or efficient. Surgery is another route.
So when it gets really acute and the stones are, for example, blocking the ureter, then the surgeons will have to go in and remove those stones.
A lot of times, once people get kidney stones, they're more susceptible to getting them again. So this team of University of Waterloo researchers were approached by a urologist in Barcelona hoping to get patients relief in a less invasive way.
He said, hey, you guys are doing these wireless microbots. Is there maybe a way that you could locally trigger the dissolution of stones by bringing medication or bringing a reaction close to the stones in the urinary tract, causing the dissolution and then thereby avoiding long time medication or even surgery.
An obscure request, right? Not really. The answer from the UW researchers was yes, there is a way.
We set up a rotating magnetic field using a permanent magnet, which is attached to a DC motor. We control the position of the magnet using a robot arm. When I move the tube, it will move with it.
The microbots are made up of thin spaghetti-like strips fitted with magnets, which are moved into place near uric acid kidney stones with the robotic arm. The soft strips contain an enzyme called urease, and once in place, it reduces the acidity of the surrounding urine, which then dissolves the stones until they are small enough to pass naturally in a few days.
So this is definitely the first of its kind for kidney stones.
The medical breakthrough is extra special for Afarine, who was a master's student when she worked on the project because she suffers from kidney stones.
And the first time that I saw the robots move was one of the best days of my life, I would say.
The technology is still in the testing phase and needs more work before moving on to human clinical trials. Still, no small feat for a very small robot. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Waterloo.
When Marilyn Pope came from Acton to enjoy a tour of Chantry Island near Southampton on Wednesday, she had no idea she would be making history as the 30,000th visitor to the historical site.
Surprising? I don't know. Yeah, totally shocking.
Since 2001, Southampton's Marine Heritage Society volunteers have been taking visitors from across North America to visit Chantry Island and its more than 150-year-old lighthouse. Built in 1859, the Chantry Island Lighthouse and Lighthouse Keeper's Home started falling into disrepair in the 1980s. A group of volunteers came together in the early 90s to try and restore the historical structures and bring tours to the National Historic Site. By the late 90s, restoration on the Lighthouse Keeper's Home began, and by 2001, tours to the island off the coast of Southampton began.
30,000 visitors, it is a milestone for this organization, and to think it all started with a group of people meeting at the Walker House in the 90s and saying, how can we enhance our tourism for Southampton, what can we do?
Kaufman says the entirely volunteer-run tours will continue as long as there are enough local people willing to keep it going, which with more than 200 volunteers now involved means that Chantry Island tours are here to stay.
With the 30,000 visitors that we've taken across there, that means that this boat behind us has made over 4,000 trips to that island, full of volunteers, full of paid patrons. So it is an ongoing, a great deal amount of work, but we have an enormous amount of fun doing it.
The Marine Heritage Society, they've been doing these tours for years and years now, and it's one of the best things about our community. One of the best things about Southampton is the tours to the island. Of course, the lighthouse on the island and getting out there and being able to climb up it and look out across the water and back at the shore.
As for the 30,000th visitor, Marilyn Pope, she's happy to have been a part of history and would recommend the 2-hour tours to everyone.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, definitely worth the boat ride and everything. I was a little nervous about the stairs, but did it, so yeah.
Near Southampton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
For decades, this was a rare sight on the Pembina River or anywhere in Alberta.
The last pairs of peregrines in central Alberta was found here in 1964 by a professor from Colorado College.
Through breeding and recovery programs, the Paragan falcon was brought back from the brink of extinction.
And it is now considered not at risk nationally. It's still on the books as a threatened species in Alberta. We were very, very close to getting it off the list of threatened species until 2022, when we had an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza, which is the bird flu, and we lost about 30% of our adults.
In 2011, the team set up what's known as a hack site high above the Pembina River.
Reasons we have signs here saying no trespassing, because it's very important that we don't disturb them before they take that first flight, because the worst thing can happen is they get frightened off the box and fly to the horizon, and we may never see them again.
Each year, they collect all but one young bird from nests in Edmonton and nearby industrial sites to bring here, away from buildings and traffic, where it's safer. 12 were recently released from this site.
We drop that mortality in the urban and industrial sites, and then we know that the males especially will return to areas where they learn to fly, and that tends to get them coming back here. And then if it's occupied, this cliff is occupied, they'll go down the river, occupy a new one.
Steve Schwartz leaves frozen quail for the falcons and monitors them every day from a nearby homeowner's lookout. It's work those involved say is rewarding.
Paragans nested here last in 1964, and we had a pair show up 50 years later because of our efforts here. We had a wild pair of Paragans that were nesting in the valley. And we see a lot of our young come back as 1-, 2-, 3-year-old birds. That's really rewarding.
Just so gratifying to see them back where they were.
Court expects it will take another 4 years or so for the peregrine falcon population to recover enough to come off the threatened species list. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Entwistle.
Look up the next time you're at Toronto's Welsley Station.
It's supposed to really be a landmark within the TTC and within the city and the Church and Wellesley Village.
This vinyl installation that wraps around the top entrance to Wellesley went up for Pride and has become a fixture in the Church and Wellesley neighborhood.
I feel like this is a representation of how we should support each other and how we should uplift each other.
The project is a collaboration between Toronto artist Yoon Kim, community members of Church Wellesley Village, and councillor Chris Moyes, with the goal to transform the space into a place that creates conversation and invites creativity.
As an artist, as an ally, I always feel like I need to do something for the community, and to be able to create something that represents the community and to be able to celebrate this neighborhood, it was just very much honoring experience for me.
The project is designed to add a pop of color with a powerful message in support of the 2S LGBTQ+ community at the bustling transit station.
People have shared how they feel that they belong because of a project and a public installation like this.
Everybody can see it, feel something, and take away something out of my work. That is my goal.
The installation here at Wellesley Station is permanent, and Steps Public Art plans on continuing their work, adding free public art around the city. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
For Lou Eltoff, a Dairy Queen blizzard comes with a serving of hope.
It's really great that we get to help them by eating ice cream, because ice cream is awesome.
Lou says they know firsthand what Chio can do for young people.
I had a depressive episode, and I was suffering anxiety, and Chio sort of helped me through it and made it so that I wasn't feeling so alone.
For Lou to have been able to turn something that was really a very tough period for them into something that empowers them and helps them give something back to the hospital that has been such an amazing support for them throughout their mental health journey. That's been amazing.
Thank you.
This year marks 41 years of partnership between Dairy Queen and the Children's Miracle Network, with more than $55 million raised for Canadian hospitals since 1984.
Every year, Miracle Treat Day is held across the country as part of Children's Miracle Network, and Dairy Queen locations are kind enough to donate the net proceeds from blizzard sales to the local children's hospital.
We work in construction, and we do this every year for the guys. Chocolate brownie, Reese.
Many customers make it a tradition, including Danelda Tryon, who ordered 15 blizzards for her crew.
We do it at Camp Day for Tim Hortons. We do it on McDonald's Day as well, so it just helps out everyone.
I think Chio and our community to have that level of care for kids, we're so fortunate to have it so close by.
This year, more than 660 Dairy Queen stores are supporting 13 children's hospital foundations across the country.
This helps us give back to the community in the best way possible, raise funds for the children, future of our country, and raise money for all the Children's Miracle Network hospitals.
For Lou Outhoff, making a difference has never been so sweet.
We literally just buy an ice cream and then bam, we're helping Chio.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Wanted more opportunities in stage combat. We couldn't really find any plays that had a lot of roles, exciting roles for women. Usually they were just kind of slapped or pushed down.
An Affair of Honor is a stage combat and physical theater company with a focus on representation.
To provide opportunities for upcoming artists, for women artists, for non-binary, just in general underrepresented people on stage. Like we always say, like it would have meant a lot to see people who look like us on stage when we were little.
First ever show we produced was called Soul Samurai by Queen Yuen. It was actually about a Filipino vampire slayer, and that's really crazy because like actually having something for a Filipino, not to mention like a vampire slayer, that was just like really up our alley.
Based in British Columbia, Affair of Honor has roots on the East Coast and wants to grow them.
But super excited to come back and share my art form that I've been doing for a decade now with my family here, with my hometown. Super excited to share with East Coast audiences and see if they get a kick out of what we do.
Because we want to come back to the East Coast. We want to come to Chester. We want to come to places, and we want to make all those connections and figure out what the actual ecosystem is of what theater is out here and where we fit. Because we would love to bring Jackie home more often. Come see us at the Fundy and Halifax Fringe Festival!
With performances at Fundy and Halifax Fringe this summer, Hanlon and Burnaby say their show hits the mark.
We're a good kind of gateway in there because we're loud, we're funny, we're a little more accessible to people who might not be quite typically into theater.
And gives new audiences a way to flex their muscles.
We want you to be impressed with what your body can do now and what it can learn. And so one of the things that we hope is more empowerment of being like, you can do this. Like this is something that is possible and what you can do.
The combat kicks off August 18th in St. John before heading to Halifax until September 7th. Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
It's the Battle of Alberta, hardcore style. The Calgary Surge and Edmonton Stingers were two of the hottest teams in the league down the stretch. The Surge wrapped the season with 4 straight wins. The Stingers won 3 in a row. And now the two teams face each other in a one-game play-in. This will definitely add to the rivalry that's developed between the two.
This honestly was like the first rivalry I learned about in the CBL because we were the first game and it was a game winner. So, but yeah, it's a great rivalry. They're a great team to have a rivalry with. And I feel like it's just a, you know, the regular season was the regular season and now it's just for all the marbles. So
not much separated Calgary and Edmonton in the regular season. The Stingers got the better of the Surge in the season series, but Calgary clinched second place in the second last game of the season by beating the Stingers. The Surge are hoping the home fans can help lift them over the top.
It's a big advantage. It feels like there's about like 6 players on the court at the same time. So, you know, when you have the crowd on your side, it's obviously a good feeling, gives you more confidence. And when you go on big runs and stuff like that, it's, you know, it's a good feeling.
There's so much on the line in a single elimination game. Win and you move on to Vancouver. Lose, your season's over. So how do you approach a game like this? What advice do the coaches have for their players?
We have a high standard, you know. We just got to go be us. We got to go play our brand of basketball, our formula. Defense to offense, and we just got to play together. And our assistant coaches did a great job installing the game plan all week, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You know, we've played good basketball all season long. We've had success against Calgary the last couple times we've seen them. So for us, it's just trying to be consistent in our concepts. Trying to be a little bit tighter in our execution, certainly, but not trying to, you know, do anything out of the ordinary or out of character.
And 3 Surge players are finalists for CEBL awards. Miller Moore up for Canadian Player of the Year, and Nelson Jr. will go up against teammate Greg Brown III for Defensive Player of the Year.
I sent well over 100 cold emails before I finally got a position in a lab, and that was sort of my first opportunity that turned into more opportunities and eventually led me down this path.
Dr. Kareem Mathani's experiences led him to create the next Neuroscience program, a new partnership between Sunnybrook Health Sciences and Toronto Community Housing, inspired by similar past programs.
So we are home to 100,000 residents, and 29% of the residents are young people. So young people up to 24 years.
One time I wanted to be a firefighter. Another time, for many years, I thought I would be in the NBA.
Caleb Wamiki just finished grade 12, and his 2 months at Sunnybrook have inspired him to switch to a career in neuroscience.
I think it's the most interesting system in the body, the nervous system, because it controls like your mind, it controls voluntary movement, it controls your breathing, all these things that we don't even think about.
Before this, I never had the opportunity to come into a physical lab, coming to a hospital, seeing people, and this is their day-to-day job, you know?
Nabayat Fasaha had always been interested in science, but never dreamed she could get a paid summer job in a top neuroscience department.
I come here from like 9 to 5. It's just like seeing if I want to do this in the future.
Dr. Neer Lipsman says their goal was to expose promising young students to neuroscience and hopefully ignite their careers.
Everything from brain technology to emerging ways of interacting with the brain to studying the brain and to studying patients, that was really our goal.
This year there were 4 students in the program, 2 grade 11, 2 grade 12, but next year they hope to expand that number in the next neuroscientist program. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Many pastures in Westlock County look like this, mostly dry grass and vegetation, with only small patches of green.
Like usually we have 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in June and July, and in this area we had 3/10.
Drought conditions and a severe grasshopper infestation has forced Westlock County to declare a state of agricultural disaster, and it isn't the only one.
Many counties around us have. We have Smoky Lake, Lesser Slave, Athabasca County now, so it's a widespread problem all around Alberta.
The lack of grass growth on pastures is forcing some farmers to sell off their cattle.
I don't know what we're going to do.
Really?
Record high prices on cattle, but if you can't keep them, it ain't going to be that good.
The drought is also hindering annual crop growth. Westlock County estimates yield production is down 30 to 50% compared to last year. And with a third of the county's population being farmers, it hurts the local economy.
When yields are down, that affects their business, which affects farmers' business. Really, the whole farming community is very integrated and relies on each other.
The county says the declaration does not automatically result in additional provincial or federal funding, but it is hoping it does raise awareness.
And we just wanted to advocate on the behalf of our producers to say, we hear you guys, we know things are bad, and we want to advocate to our provincial and federal governments for some sort of assistance if possible.
The province says financial assistance and protections such as crop insurance are available. Nav Sangha, CTV News, Westlock County.
As part of the foundation of the Up Here Festival, they have planned some new murals that are beautifying the city, one stroke at a time.
11 years of bringing art and music to the community, especially murals, which are a way of uplifting, bringing color, activating artists in our spaces. So I'm really excited.
The artists have come from near and far, with one local artist from Northern Ontario and 4 who came from Toronto, Montreal, Saskatoon, and even Brazil.
I'm feeling so glad to be here and make this wall here, because it's so good, because people here are so kind.
People have been really nice. Like everyone that has a store on the building, like they're just super nice, and they come check on the mural and they're super interested. A bunch of people like are honking while we're painting to be like, hey, it's really nice. So generally, like really good vibes.
The murals are located in Azilda, downtown Sudbury, and the Flour Mill this year, with installations on the Azilda Arena, Elm, Larch, and Beach Street, as well as Notre Dame Avenue. The art is bringing color back to the city, and one artist spoke about an interaction he had with someone who's experiencing homelessness, who spoke about his thoughts on the mural.
I cried a lot when he told me he felt so good to see my art, you know. he was in this situation, living in the street.
I believe art should be accessible, and I don't think that anyone needs to have like a knowledge of art to appreciate art.
5 new artworks are being added into Greater Sudbury's collection of murals from Up Here Festival, with event organizers saying that this is just the beginning as the festival commences tomorrow. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Recent rainfall has helped crews gain control over some of Saskatchewan's largest wildfires.
Over the last 3 to 4 days, all areas of the northern forest have received between 5 and 20 millimeters of rain. That has increased our ability to contain these fires and accomplish more.
The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says the Shoe Fire, which tore through Narrow Hills Provincial Park, the Wolf Fire, which devastated Denair Beach, and the Ditch Fire near Wayakowin are all now contained. The SPSA says improved conditions mean 2 air tankers from Quebec have been sent back. It has also released 3 military helicopters, and Australian firefighters are heading home. But about 300 military firefighters remain on the ground alongside crews from Quebec, Ontario, the U.S., and Mexico.
The change in fire behavior is welcomed by the crews because they can be more productive. It's not as high risk. It's not as problematic for them.
Meanwhile, the SPSA says recovery efforts are underway in Denair Beach, with about 500 people visiting the Resiliency Centre.
We have a number of organizations that are at that one-stop shop, and they include SGI, PDAP, the Saskatchewan Health Authority, Social Services, Red Cross, and Samaritan's Purse, all there to help answer questions and give guidance.
But despite the progress, 4 communities remain under full evacuation orders. As of Thursday afternoon, there are 79 active wildfires in the province. 11 are not contained. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Thank you. As Tony Garrett takes tentative steps towards the start of the Zipline, she's filled with fear.
I'm afraid of heights.
A lifelong fear that's hindered Tony from experiencing the sort of things that made others so happy.
When my family went to Paris, I'm the one that stayed on the ground while the rest of them climbed the Eiffel Tower.
And Tony will never forget how it felt knowing her children were posing up there while she was waiting alone down here.
And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it.
And then Tony, who's now 82, read about her retirement resident's upcoming zipline trip and saw pictures from last year's excursion featuring fellow resident Colleen Goosen.
And looking at Colleen's face was so inspiring.
It was a high-flying adventure that Colleen had kept secret from her family until she sent them evidence.
Grandma, what are you doing?
The almost 91-year-old says she was simply doing what you do when you intend to never act old.
I can add years on, but I don't plan to be old.
Which inspired Tony to plan and join Colleen all the way up here and face her fear.
It's a little overwhelming.
Tony says she was actually so overwhelmed, being on a platform as high as 45 meters, 150 feet above the ground, and barely being able to see across chasms that spanned it up to 300 meters, 1,000 feet. She was completely numb.
Like, I just had no idea what it was going to be like.
But after watching Colleen fly through the forest, Tony found the courage to do the same.
Like holding my breath and jumping into deep water.
But instead of being embraced by cooling liquid, Tony found herself being invigorated by rushing air.
This is fantastic.
And after she arrived safely, a burst of euphoria.
I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. It was really good. I loved it.
And if we can find pleasure in facing our fears, Tony says, we may just discover a whole new world of possibilities.
And I've been trying to think about what I can do short of skydiving.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Souk.